You can download the art seen in the video for free, link in the description. There are two basic 2D enemies. We'll create a top-down enemy that chases the player once they get close, and a 2D side-scroller enemy that walks from side to side on a platform. For the top-down enemy, add a character body 2D, add a collision shape 2D, set its shape to a rectangle, then disable it. We don't need this collision for this tutorial. However, because we are using a character body 2D node, we need to have this node as a child. Next, add a sprite 2D node. Set its texture to the art atlas so you can download for free, link in the description. Go to texture and change its filter to nearest as we're using pixel art. Then go to region, enable, and then hit edit region. Change the snap mode to grid snap, scroll in with the mouse wheel, and select the squid character. Add an area 2D. Add a collision shape 2D as a child, set its shape to a rectangle, set the size to 11 by 12, then go to transform and set it to 1 on the y-axis. Add two area 2D nodes, right click and select rename, change the first to enter area, and change the second to exit area. Add a collision shape 2D to the enter area, set its shape to a circle, and make the size 50. Add a collision shape 2D to the exit area, set its shape to a circle as well, and set its size to 70. We use two nodes for this so that the player has to get further away to escape the enemy's vision. Save the scene, then select the character body 2D and add a script. In the script, we will define an onReady variable to grab the player node. We use onReady as it will make grabbing the player node only occur once all the nodes in the scene tree have loaded. Keep in mind that me grabbing parent means that the player must be in the same branch of the scene tree as this enemy. Also make sure to spell the name of the player node correctly, otherwise you'll get an error. We'll then define two variables, one for the speed of the enemy and another for if the enemy should chase or not. Inside the built-in physics process function, we will check if the enemy should chase. If so, then we'll grab the direction to the player node's global position. We use .normalize to convert the vector 2 into one that has a maximum of 1 and a minimum of -1 on both axes. This is needed to ensure that we don't have the character body move faster based on the distance to the player. We then lerp velocity towards direction multiplied by speed with a weight of 8.5 multiplied by delta. Lerp will simply move one value, in our case velocity, towards another value, which for us is direction multiplied by speed. To control how fast the lerp moves from one value to another, we can change the weight of 8.5. Additionally, we also multiply the weight by delta to ensure that the enemy moves at the same speed no matter the player's FPS. Finally, we add move and slide, which simply causes the character body to begin moving with the velocity property. As for animation, we can check what direction the enemy is moving and flip the player accordingly. Next, go to the Area 2D node and select it. Select Node, go to Signals, right-click the body entered signal and hit Connect, and then connect it. Inside, we'll check if the body that we are colliding with is the player. Then we will reload the current scene, which resets the level. Now to avoid error, we must call deferred for the reload current scene function. This simply runs the function at the end of the current frame. The reason why we must do this is because there's a chance that the game reloads, but some other code is meant to run before the frame is ended, causing an error. Therefore, we avoid that with call deferred, as it makes the reload happen last in the frame. We'll then select the enter area node and connect its body entered into the script. Then select the exit area node and connect its body exited to the script. We'll first check if the body that is colliding is the player node, and if so, then we will enable and disable should chase appropriately. An extra tip for testing the game is that you can go to debug and enable visible collision shapes. This is useful as it can help track whether the enemy is properly activating or deactivating its should chase variable, as well as it can help you in understanding the collision interactions in your game. As for the side-scroller enemy, add a character body 2D node to the scene, add a sprite 2D node to the scene, set the texture to an art atlas which can be downloaded for free, link in the description, set the texture filter to nearest as we are using pixel art, then go to region, enable, hit edit region, change the snap mode to grid snap, scroll in with the mouse wheel and select the squid character, add a collision shape 2D node to the scene, set the shape to a rectangle and change the size to 4 by 1, then set the position to 6.5 on the y-axis, so that way it's positioned at the bottom of the player's feet. Now you can disable this collision shape if you don't want the gravity on the player. Just keep in mind that if you do disable it, make sure to remove the gravity code that we'll write soon. Add an area 2D node to the scene, add a collision shape 2D as a child, make its shape a rectangle and change the size to 11 by 12, then go to transform and change its transform to 1 on the y-axis. This area 2D node will be used to detect when the player collides with the enemy. Add a raycast 2D node to the scene, right click the node and select rename, rename it to left ray, set the target position to 0 by 5 and change its transform position to -7 by 6, and make sure to enable hit from inside. This is important because if it isn't enabled, then if the raycast starts inside of a collider when it loads into the game, then it will not detect the collider until it exits. While the raycast is selected, hit Ctrl or Command plus D to duplicate it, rename it to right ray, and change the transform from -7 to 7 on the x-axis. These two raycasts will detect when the enemy has reached a ledge, meaning that the enemy should change movement directions so they don't fall off. Add another raycast 2D node to the scene, change its name to left wall ray, set the target position to -2 by 0, and change the transform position to -7 by 2. While selected, hit Ctrl or Command plus D to duplicate it, change the name to right wall ray, and change the target position to +2 on the x-axis, and its transform position to a +7. Save the scene, then select the character body 2D and add a script. Inside, we'll define an onReady variable to grab the player node. We use an onReady because when you grab a node's path, using onReady will grab the path once all the nodes in the scene tree have loaded. Just make sure that the player is in the same branch within the scene tree hierarchy, and also make sure that the player node's name is spelled correctly. We will also add two variables, one for speed and another for gravity. And finally, we use an export variable for the direction of the enemy. We use export so that we can have each enemy starting in different directions by changing the variable in the property panel on the right. And we use export range so that the variable can only be equal to a -1, 0, or a 1. Inside the ready function, we'll check if we accidentally set dir to 0 and then set it to the default of 1. Then we will set the sprite's flip H to ensure that it's looking in the correct direction at the start. Inside of the physics process function, we'll check if dir is equal to 1 or -1. Then we will check if either the respective ground checking ray isn't colliding or that the respective wall detecting ray is colliding. Then we change direction and set the sprite's flip H appropriately. For movement, we set the velocity.x to a lerp from velocity.x to dir multiplied by speed with a weight of 10 multiplied by delta. The lerp will simply move from one value to the next at the speed of the weight, which we use delta to make sure that the player's x velocity changes in the same way no matter the player's FPS. Then we add gravity to the y value so the player moves downward. Keep in mind that you'll need to remove this if you chose to have your collision shape be disabled. And we call move and slide to make the character body move with the velocity property. To detect the player and restart the level, select the Area 2D node, go to Node Signals, and double-click the player entered signal and connect it. Inside, we'll check if the body detected is the player node. If so, then we will restart the game with the reload current scene function. Now, to avoid an error, we must use call deferred for the reload current scene function. Call deferred simply calls that function at the end of the frame rather than immediately. This is needed as there could be code trying to run after this line, which would error if the line restarting the level ran immediately, as the potential code trying to run after may have dependencies that no longer exist due to the restarting. Now, to make the enemy wait for some time after they change directions before it moves again, we will create a custom function called waitDirChange with a built-in variable called desiredDir. Inside, we will define a timer that lasts 0.5 seconds and wait for it to complete. Then we will set dir to the desired dir. Then inside of our physics process, we can set dir to 0, stopping the movement, then call the function with the appropriate desired dir inside of the brackets, which will set dir after 0.5 seconds has passed.